What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Pretty big update. CRV is fixed. Sort of. Let me show you. So, we got everything on. New CV shafts, new hubs, new wheel bearings, new all of this, all of that. I sheared this bolt off, so it's zip tied, so it's fixed. Couple things I need to do today. I need to get those tapped in there so that this locks on better. And rather unfortunately, when I was going to put this wheel on, look what happened. I don't know how well you can see it, but it sheared completely, tore all the threads out. I had all 5 of them. That was the last one. They were all hand tightened. The wheel was all the way in. I just took out the impact to give them a quick blast to tighten them, and as soon as I did that, it went poof and just spun. And first of all, I thought I just completely shredded the brand new hub that I put on. Thankfully, that wasn't the case. It was just these cheap O'Reilly lug nuts. So I actually I got some more, and to replace those, because obviously that's pretty bad. That's really bad quality. And they're the right thread pitch. Everything is correct. I don't know why they're just made out of fragile metal, I guess. But I actually have some original lug nuts from SSR on the way. They're finally back in stock. They were back ordered in Japan for months. So they're finally in stock. I got some on the way, so I shouldn't be having that issue anymore. Still don't have center caps. They're way too expensive for me right now. But for the time being, I got some replacements because, as you know, I have that camping trip this weekend. We're leaving tomorrow. By the time you guys see this video, we will have already done and gone. But we're also going to fill... I can't talk today. But we're also going to finish installing the Odyssey rear table on the tailgate today. I went to Harbor Freight and I bought a bunch of new tools. I got the absolute cheapest tools I can because it's Harbor Freight and that's what you do. So I got this threaded riv nut kit. So basically the holes that I had already drilled, I'm just gonna tap these threaded nutserts into, and then I got, I don't know if they're in here or somewhere else. It might be in here. Yeah, they're in here. I got this pack of 240 nuts and bolts, and I believe these right here are the ones that I'm going to use. I think they're the correct size. So I'm going to do that, and I guess there's no washers in these, but that's, oh no, there are. There are some lock washers down in there. Oh yeah, plenty of them. I'm going to throw some washers in as the spacers on that, and that should be good enough. I also got, like, not that we're using any of this in this video, but I got sanding disc, angle grinder, cutoff wheels, angle grinder itself. That was $15, $20 with the 2-year warranty, and a new tarp for the E30. So I'm going to go ahead and get the wheels and tires on and drop this thing down on the ground, get the jack stands out from underneath of it. Then we're going to go ahead and try and tackle the rear table. Then I have to take this thing on a test drive. I haven't even driven it since we've done everything, so I have to make sure that everything works. Obviously, I don't want its maiden voyage to be a 2-hour road trip, so I'm going to hop in it. I'm going to drive it around town. I may hit the gym while I'm out, and then after that, we should be good to go. Then I'm going to clean out CRV, get these nets packed up. Obviously, I'm not going to drive with them on there, and I have to take the subwoofer out because we need the space for all the camping gear. Then we're going to load up the CRV and be good to go. Depending on how long all this stuff takes, I may start working on the BMW a little bit in this video. But this one will probably just be buttoning up everything that I've already started on the CRV and getting this thing dialed and finished. So let's get to work. Am I the one for you? You're not by my side. I feel like skipping town. You're not down the ride. Cancel all the plans. Yeah, you make me cry. Drive my Volvo off. I'm out in Beetlejuice style. Yeah, I hate that, but it's alright. Makes your fingers on my back. Quick little fun fact about these old jack stands. They're my dad's. He actually got them when he was in the service, and they used to hold up his old GTO back in the day. I don't know off the top of my head what year it was. I'll put it right here. I want to say 67, but yeah, pretty cool. These things are about 60 years old, and they've gone from my dad down to me. All right, nothing immediately snapped. That's a good sign. All right, I suppose I'm gonna go take it for a quick test drive, just to make sure all is well, and I will report back to you guys in a few minutes. All is well. There are a couple odds and end noises that I'm not sure about, but it's probably just kind of everything settling into place, you know. But I think we're good. It felt good. I'm just checking the lug nuts real quick, just to make sure they didn't loosen themselves. Everything felt good. The steering is a lot tighter. I used to have a bunch of play in the steering wheel, which the guy at Firestone said it was a carrier bearing. I don't think it was. I think it was actually just my axle shafts were loose. Not loose, they were just worn out. Because I put new ones in. Yeah, I don't know if I actually told you guys everything that we did. So we got new CV axles for the front. I got new wheel bearings and hubs and lower ball joints as well, which I suppose lower ball joints could have been part of the loose play as well, although they didn't say that. But those are pretty worn out as well. So the steering feels really tight. I'm not sure if something is sticking or this car just feels slower than I remember, because I've been driving my dad's V8 Tundra for a while. But it does feel a little bit sluggish. But I know we also took like the brakes off and everything like that, so it could just be everything's kind of, you know, settling back into place. But everything's good. It doesn't really sound like anything's loose. So I'm gonna take it to work tomorrow, and then when I get home I'll nut and bolt check everything that we did that needs to be checked. There's a lot of things that have cotter pins in them, so I'm not worried about those. Wheel bearings should be fine, but I'll check the wheels, and I'll check the coilover bolts, because we had to take those off in order to get the axles in. But other than that, we should be good to go, so let's get started on that Odyssey table. So I've never used one of these before, so you and I are going to learn together. So it looks like the biggest insert is in here already, which is the one I want to use, I think. And it looks like my holes are basically the right size. This might just work the way it is. Might need a little bit bigger. Actually do this yourself, not necessarily this table, but use these tools. I'm going to put the links to both things in the description, as well as the pictures of them on Harbor Freight's website right here. They're super cheap, I kid you not. This also came with lock washers that I'm going to be adding for a little bit extra security. And then, like I was going to try and do before, I'm going to thread one of these nuts that's too big for this bolt on it on the back, and act as like a little bit of a spacer just right here, just to stick it out ever so slightly. But I think before I do that, I'm gonna make sure all of these are lined up and see if I actually need them, because this nutsert actually added a little bit of distance, so I may not. I cannot believe I didn't I didn't even like know this tool existed. I knew rivets existed. I didn't know that there was like a riv nut tool that you could use. I'm definitely also going to need to be adding bigger spacers to these in addition to the lock washer. Stay. Because these holes are too big, which not a big deal. Alrighty, let's see if we can get this thing buttoned up. I think I'm gonna use a tactic that I used before that didn't work, but I think will work now, where I'm gonna use some black duct tape. I'm gonna punch a hole through this, and I'm just gonna tape it right here. So in theory it should stay put, and then I could just line the thing up and I could just put the holes or put the screws in as needed. So I don't know, man. I'm running out of ideas. Should work though, as I've said for everything else.
Am I the one for you? You're not by my side. I feel like skipping town. You're not down to ride. Cancel all the plans.
I just want to finish it.
You make me cry. Drive my Volvo off a mountain, Beetlejuice style. Yeah, I hate life, but that's alright. Miss your fingers down my back in the nighttime. You're so bad for me, but that's alright. I know you're coming back in the morning when I'm just fine for you. Cancel all the plans.
Okay.
Am I the one for you?
That is fucking sick. It's definitely worth all the effort. If I was to do it again, I wouldn't do really anything that I did other than the riv nuts. If I were to do it again, I'd still cut this off. I'd cut it a little bit better. I'd mark out these 4 holes. I'd mark where I want them on the back. I'd put some studs, put the cover on so that with some paint on the studs, so it marks the back of the cover. Drill holes through the cover, space it out, put this thing on the outside of the plastic, and bolt it in. That would be way easier. I don't know why I thought this could go like behind the plastic, sorta. I wanted it to be as flush as possible, but frankly it doesn't work being super flush because the plastic cover gets in the way anyway. So really you kind of need it on the outside of the cover regardless. So if you're handy with welding, weld it. Just weld metal tubes that stick up about ½ inch, something like that. But yeah, it works. If you feel like doing it the way I did, good luck. Just skip everything else you've seen up until the last 5 minutes. So we're done. Hallelujah. Now let's get... Dude, there's no way. I didn't do anything. Okay. I think maybe me leaning on this plastic pushed some under. I really could just trim some of this plastic off to make my life easier, but I think I can just kind of... Yeah. All right, that works. Okay. Let me finish putting this back together. I think I filmed enough. We got everything buttoned up on this CR-V. I'm gonna call it there. I've got a lot more work to do before our camping trip, so I'm gonna call it there on working on stuff. I might not end the video here. I'll probably show you guys some of the camping stuff. So I will probably see you guys in a couple days at the lake. Good afternoon, everybody. You join me not in the CR-V, and that is because I was taking it to work today. I was about 10 minutes from home. I was going uphill and the RPM started climbing. The car wasn't accelerating. It was really bad. It was to the point where it like wasn't accelerating at all. And so I pulled over, I stopped, I put it in park. It didn't stay in park. It started rolling. Turned the e-brake on, couldn't find anything. I thought, you know, maybe we messed something up with the axle shafts. Maybe they weren't in all the way. I don't know. Either way, I was like, okay, well, I'm only a few minutes from home. I'm just gonna run back, grab Dad's truck, and just keep taking that. And when I got on the straightaway, like heading towards the road where my house is on, it just straight up would not accelerate at all. It just revved in every gear. I even hand clicked it all the way down to third, second, and first. RPMs would go up. I was basically just coasting at like 18 miles an hour. Basically felt like it was in neutral. So I don't know. I'm pretty sure it's something with the transmission, but I checked the fluid. The fluid seems fine. It doesn't smell bad. There's not like metal flakes in it. So I don't think the transmission grenaded itself. I think and hope and pray that it's maybe just like a shift solenoid, or I don't know. I don't really know much about transmissions, but I feel like hopefully it's something simple. I don't think I'm going to need a trans swap, I hope. But yeah, we're still going on the camping trip, but you can see we got Pupper and all the stuff in the back, so we're just taking the truck, and instead of sleeping in the car or in the truck, obviously, we got tents and sleeping bags. So I'm going to call it here. Unfortunately, the CRV is dead for the time being. Tow truck's supposed to come pick it up today, if not possibly Monday, and then they should be able to get to it by Tuesday, and then I'll hopefully have an update for you guys. But until then, I guess we're just working on the Beamer. So I will see you guys next week, where we're going to put the BMW all back together, and I even think I might start running the wiring harness. So thank you all for watching. I know it was a pretty CRV heavy video. In fact, that's all we did. So I hope you guys enjoy that sort of stuff. I do love that car. I really hope it's nothing major. So thank you all for watching. I'll see you in the next one.